Sapese Zamiwe, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to conclude the depression series saga, and for this episode I'm just going to be talking about grad school and how that contributed to my depression and how everything just came tumbling down, along with financial troubles. And I'll also explain some triggers that can cause my depressive episode or my anxiety, and certain things I do to cope with it, whether or not it's good or bad. So if you guys want to continue watching this video, then please keep on. Okay, so we're just going to be talking about grad school for a little bit. So I went to an Ivy League grad school after I graduated undergrad in the city, and that school's curriculum for me was hard. It might come easy to some students, and it felt that way when I looked at my classmates in my program, because it seemed as if majority of them was breezing through grad school. So I was jealous and I started comparing myself, and I just started to feel really bad about myself and making myself believe that I wouldn't be able to obtain my master's. And also a couple teachers of mine also made me feel that way as well, by the way they speak to me and the way they treat me, the way they treated me in comparison to other students in my class, and also just body language and everything. So yeah, it took me 3 years to get my Master of the Arts. So thank God. I wasn't able to get my education and master's because I didn't, finish the full program. I just did half of it. So in school, well, in grad school, you're supposed to have a B average. So my first year of grad school, my full semester, I got a C in ethics. I did not like my teacher. I don't like teachers who don't tell me what's going to be on the test. And I don't like teachers who speak to me in a belittling way. I don't know if it's even a word, but speaking to me like you're better than me. Like, yes, you have all the credentials, but I'm here to get those credentials as well. But if you're going to be speaking to me like I'm stupid, or just in a way that I'm registering wrong, and I'm asking other students if asking them how they would react to that, and it's similar to mine, then we have a problem. So I got a C in that grade, even though I did the homework, even though I did projects that I feel that I should have got higher grades in. I did everything. I know in the final I bombed the final because I was like, what the fuck? What case is this? What happened here? Oh. It was the dates. It was like, you know how, never mind, I'm not even gonna say it, but like the Tuskegee law or some shit like that. Like something around like that, or like Brown versus something like that. Like those type of questions that were on the test, I did not know. So I was like, oh shit. But anyway, that's besides the point. And then I also got a C in adult psychopathology my spring semester of my first year. So I was tight that I got a low grade. And I kept failing my exams. And I always failed the multiple choice questions. But I always aced the written part. Because I don't know why. I'm just good at the written part. Like, I can... Like, those questions had to do with identifying a certain disorder and their symptoms and whatever. So I knew that shit. So I was just like, why am I fucking up on the multiple choice? Because it's basically just writing it out in a little summary for the written part. So I was just like, oh my God, what the fuck? And also when I would read the questions, I look at the answers, I'm like, bitch, you're just making silly mistakes. And these silly mistakes made you get a low grade. And then you get mad. So that was my fault. But like with papers, for some reason, I guess I wasn't proficient enough. I guess I didn't, write graduate level papers. But I wasn't worried about that because in other classes, I got B's and A's. So my thing is, for my grades, for it to be B average and up, I have to either like the teacher, like the class, or both. If I don't like anything, then I'm just going to fail. So it's like I have to like one or the other. I have to like the teacher or I have to like the class. If it can't be both, I gotta like one. If I don't like one of them, then my grades are gonna suffer. And if I come to you and I still fail, then that's not my fault. That's your fault. Because if you're telling me everything that I need to do and I do it and I still don't pass, then that's not my fault because I did everything that I need to do. So there's something going on with you that made you give me a low grade. So I didn't do extra credit because I don't think they even offered extra credit. But I know when I was an undergrad, if I had to do extra credit to bring my grade up, then I would. Even if I didn't need it, I would still do it just to secure my good grades. But that shit don't be happening in grad school. Only in some classes they do have extra credit that I have done, I think, unless I'm getting confused with undergrad and grad school. But moral of the story is, if there's extra credit that's to be done, you sure as hell will know I'm gonna do it, whether or not I have to. So yeah. What else? I didn't like one professor. She had, no, well, I didn't like both of them. But, okay, one of them got me fucked up my first semester. It was for this class called Foundations. And that's basically, half of the class is, learning, like, from the textbook. And then the second part is doing, like, practice dyads. And a dyad is basically you either be the therapist or the client, and then you just do a fake counseling session for like 20 minutes or so, and then you give critiqued by your classmates on what you did well, what you did not do so well in, and recommendations for the future. So this one teacher, she said that I'm not authentic. So I'm just like, excuse you, how do you know if I'm authentic enough or not? Because you don't know me and you don't talk to me. So you don't know who the fuck I am to say that I'm not authentic. So I'm just like, wait, what? And that day I was already emotional because that was when I found out that my first boyfriend passed away of cancer. He died of Burkitt's lymphoma. So I remember that day, because that was evaluation day, like after midterms and everything, whatever. I went to my ex's home and I visited his family and I gave them flowers and we chatted for a little bit. So I was already emotional because I was crying over there and I was like, if I was able to save him, I would, like, because his mom was like, I wish I had a second opinion. So I was like, you know what? If I was his girlfriend or his friend, like, I would have been like, second opinion, let's go. Because my mom passed away of cancer, so did her brother 2 years after her passing, and then my grandma was diagnosed with breast cancer. So cancer runs in the family, and I don't play when it comes to that shit. So if me and him was together, or if me and him was friends, then I would have pushed to do a second opinion as well. We would have went to every single doctor that we can get our hands on to make sure that this is the right diagnosis. So I did beat myself up about that for a while. And I was already emotional. And that's when I started getting emotional. And then it was like, see, that's you showing your authenticity. And I'm like, bitch, I've been authentic ever since I walked through these goddamn doors. If I wasn't authentic, then I wasn't showing like my true self, really. Because when I was in grad school, I felt like that I had to act a certain way. I thought that I felt that I had to act smart. I thought I had to speak a certain way. And to me, it seemed like that those two teachers was looking at me like I was some ratchet bitch, or that I was clueless, or I was too broken and whatever. Because the other teacher suggested that I take a break. I'm like, nah, bitch, we don't take breaks. I want to get this shit done and over with. So I felt like they was also, the other teacher that said I wasn't authentic, I felt like she was trying to get rid of me. She was just like, look, you have the credits to get your master's. Just take your CPCE exam and pass and get these master's degree and go. So I was like, all right, since you don't want to see my motherfucking face, that's fine. I'll just do that then. Because I was already like failing, and I had to write a letter why I need to stay in this program, and I did that, and it was a really convincing letter, so they let me stay. But it wasn't enough, because at that last semester that I did my classes, I didn't get no C or nothing. I got B's and an A. So I guess that wasn't enough to bring up my average to a B. You know, it'd be some shit if my average was a B, but niggas did not want to tell me. They wanted to keep that shit on a hush hush because they didn't want me to continue on. Because my other teacher, she felt that she didn't want me to be set up for failure by going. I'm like, it's not even that. It's the teacher or the class. And if the class is hard, then I will go to the teacher and ask for help. And I don't like to ask for help. For one class that I was on the verge of failing, it was an online course, I went to the motherfucker during his office hours, and I let him know what's up, and he gave me advice, and he gave me the tools to get a B, and I got a B. So it is not, I don't feel like it's me. Like, I will take full responsibility if I know that it's me. And if I know that it's me, then I will do everything in my power to turn that grade around, because I have done that when I was an undergrad, when at my first school and at my second school. So it's not like I'm gonna blame the teacher, because if it's my fault, then it's my fault. And then I will go to the teacher and be like, look, I know that I'm failing. Can you help me? Yeah. So, yeah. So I took the CPCE exam the first time and I failed. So I was like, oh my God. And then a month later, or 2 months later, because I think I took it in December, I remember. I took it in December 14th or 16th of 2018. No, 2017, excuse me. And I failed. And then I took it again on January 18th of 2018. And apparently I passed. But I didn't know that I passed. And I just found out literally this past week. The Friday that passed, I found out that I did pass, because I thought I failed. I never checked my school email, and I don't even have access to that school email anymore, so it don't even matter. So that's why I reached out to my advisor through my regular Gmail account, and I let her know, can you call the testing center people so I can take my exam, because I tried to schedule for the third time and I wasn't able to. I had to have the school contact them to do that. So that's what I did, and then that's when my advisor told me that I was awarded my Master of the Arts degree in May. So I was like, oh shit. So I passed that, and she, you know, wrote a document stating that I did earn my master's degree. So I was super tight on myself. I'm just like, I deserve donkey of the day, because I didn't check my school email, because if I would have known that I passed, and I wouldn't been able to go to graduation. But that's fine. I saved my family the trouble and saved my boyfriend at the time the trouble to travel to the city, because I was not going to have them drive, because one, we in the city, and two, it is a graduation day. You know there's going to be mad heads over there, so you need to fucking take the train. You can take the train being all dappered up and shit, because you're going to be like, oh, my child graduated from an Ivy League school. Holy shit. Like, she about to get her motherfucking master's. She's the only one in the fucking family who got a goddamn master's on my dad's side. I think I'm the only one in my generation that got a master's. Unlike my other cousins. But it's okay. Not to be rude and shit, but their time is coming. They already got their own shit. They already made their own accomplishments. So that's okay. But anyways, but yeah. I am the first person in my generation to obtain a master's. So yeah, and hopefully I can find a better job with this shit so I can get the fuck out of my regular job that I'm in, because I'm over it. But anyways, yeah, so that's basically grad school for you. Grad school sucks. Well, it sucked for me, and also I don't like school anyway. So yeah, if you're like me, you're gonna be like, oh my fucking God, you're gonna bullshit your way. Well, I bullshitted my way. Not in grad school though. You can't bullshit in grad school unless you have a different major in grad school. But for psychology, especially for counseling, it's really intense. Like you learn about yourself and you learn about other people, and you just have like a whole different like outlook on life and on yourself. And that's what happened to me. And with grad school, it just opened the door to my depression to really be like, I'm here, bitch. You trying to get rid of me in undergrad, so I'm about to come and bust through these doors and make a life a living hell. And that's basically what happened. And now we can talk about finances. So we can backtrack to back in the day. So after my mom died, she left me with money. I had a lot of money. There was two separate accounts. One of them was a little over $40,000, and the other one was around $20,000 or a little bit less. I forgot. So I got the $40,000 first. I didn't get the other account until I was in undergrad, and I believe I unfroze the account in October. So I had all this money, and at first I didn't even know what to do with it. At first I wanted to transfer all that money into my account, and my dad was like, don't do that. So I was like, okay. So they give you like a checkbook. So if you want to take money out, then you have to withdraw money. And I think it has to be over $125 or $200, I forgot. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing. And that money lasted for a little over 4 years. So that's not bad. And you know what my dad said? He had the nerve to be like, oh, you blew all your money. I'm like, I didn't blow nothing, because that shit lasted for 4 years. So I don't know how I blew it. If I was to blow the money, then I would have bought a car, new, and that's it. But no. There are times when I did use it on dumb shit like clothes or alcohol or weed and shit and hair and other hair products. But there were times that I did need it for stuff. For example, I had to pay back my grandpa for the funeral for my mom. I had to pay for the tombstone, but I used the other account to pay for that. I had to pay my full freshman year out of pocket because going away for school was a last minute resort. Like I thought I was going to St. Francis College, but I ended up, going to my old school. Not my old school. Well, the school that I went to for my first 2 years. I ended up going there. So I had to pay for the full year out of pocket. Mind you, I had to pay for room and board and everything, even though I had an academic scholarship. I used it for my volleyball expenses because I played volleyball for a year there. What else? I had to pay for my wisdom teeth extraction for all 4, but that was when I was a junior in at St. John's. There were times that I did have. Yeah, I had to pause because my grandma called me and I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I don't know what I was talking about. I forgot. But if I start talking and it has nothing to do with what happened like a few minutes ago, I'm sorry. But I know I was talking about grad school, and then maybe I was gonna start talking about... Oh, I was talking about my expenses. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, moral of the story is that money gone. But I always depended on my school refunds. I never had a savings. I never, did an emergency fund, put money away. But when you work in retail, it's hard to be saving because you're getting paid a minimum wage, and depending on your employer, if they like you, then they'll give you more hours. And if you don't kiss ass like me, you don't get hours, really. And that's what happened when I started working at Express, because at first I worked at Macy's, and that's the only retail job or any job in general that I was the most content in, because I had my homies. I would pick my own schedule, whatever's available, and I always picked the same schedule that I always did. and stuff like that. So the only bad thing about it was just the drive, because it was all the way in Garden City, like in Long Island, and I live in Queens and Flushing. Oh shit, now niggas know where I live, so they can probably find me. But yeah, that was the only bad part. And then when I worked at Express, oh my god, I hated that job so much. But anyway, that's besides the point. So now let's come back. You see what I did there? Yeah, I did a therapeutic technique. Let's go back. Let's go back to the real problem. So let's talk about finances again. So like I said, I used to always depend on, you know, my school refunds because I didn't have a savings and shit. So yeah, and yeah, I would, you know, be using my refund money for stupid shit like clothes. But sometimes it won't even be clothes for me. Like if I had a boyfriend at the time, I would always spoil him. Like I would always buy clothes, I'll buy accessories, sneakers and shit. So yeah, I'm a giver. Yeah, so yeah. And also with hair, all that hair that I spent on that I don't even use. The only hair I got is the one on my head and the 2 other wigs that is back there that I don't even wear. So yeah, some of the refund money I did have to use for myself. When I was in grad school for the last year that I was there, that was when I found out that I was pregnant. So I was waiting on my refund money. So my dumbass purposely took the full amount of whatever I can borrow, because that was going, and it also splits per semester. So one semester I had that half, and the second semester I had the other half. But it took long to get the first half, because not because of like me, it was because of my college and something was going on, and I wasn't the only one that had that problem. But yeah, that money was going to go to the child. But after I had my miscarriage, I'm like, okay, this money's for me. And I really tried so hard not to spend that money. I would only spend the money that I had. Because before I didn't have a job, because that's when I stopped working at Express, because I was over it and I did not like the new store manager. And also I don't kiss ass for nobody, so no one was giving me any hours. So I was like, all right. So I just stopped going. So I didn't have a job from June until October, when I started working at Bath and Body Works as a seasonal sales associate. And then that's when I started my first real full-time job. So once that money started coming in, I would just use, you know, what I earned from there and not really use, you know, my school refund money. I started using it after my papa died. My dad's dad, he passed away. I think it's about to go on 2 years now. Yeah, it's gonna go on 2 years. And I had to use that money for my flight and hotel, and that was it. And then that's when gradually, little by little, I started using it. And then I know I used it to get a new car, well, a new used car, because Jacob want to keep crashing my motherfucking Camry. And then after the second or third time, I was like, all right, I'm gonna just get another car, because I'm over you crashing my car. And that car, that car was his. He used it all the time. He used it more than I did. So it's basically his car. And mind you, that car is still sitting in my grandparents' driveway waiting for him to take her. No lie, I should have took that car for myself so I can be able to, you know, do my visits at the current job that I'm in now, instead of giving it to him for free. But I'm such a good person, so I wasn't going to take it back, because I already, you know, established that I was going to give it to him, and I didn't know that my SUV was going to break down a year later, so so that sucks. But yeah, I started getting into a financial rut, like, as of lately, because I don't have any money. And it's hard to save when you have all these student loans now that you have to pay for. So it's just like, oh my God. So it's just such a financial burden. And I haven't been paying my therapist for mad long. So that's just really been, you know, getting to me, making me feel worthless, making me feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because I'm 25 and I'm still living at home, and I want to move out. I really do. I want to move to a different area. Like, and also I don't even want to live in New York. I want to live like away from New York because it's cheaper there. And maybe with my degree, you know, I can probably find a good job. But like with my degree, even though I have a master's, it's not like I'm a practicing clinician. So yeah. So not having money when I need it and when I want it sucks. And when you're in like financial debt, like school debt and also your credit card debt and other card debt, it just piles up. And like tickets and stuff, and it's like you don't have the money to pay for it. It makes you feel like shit, and also it fucks up your credit. So my credit is probably fucked up now. So that sucks. And I feel like that I'm not getting out of this financial debt. I feel like I'm gonna be in debt until I die. And that's not what I want. And that makes me feel sad. That makes me not want to have kids, even though I want to have kids, but then I don't want to have kids because I can't afford a child. Like, I can't even afford this damn dog. So yeah, it's hard. And it's hard when you have to cut your expenses just because you need to pay for something else, or you have to not pay for something just to pay for something else. And that's frustrating. Like, I was always frustrated. I'm still frustrated. That's why I need a better job so I can, you know, be able to have some form of financial stability because I don't have it. And I'd be ashamed of myself when I think about other people dying, especially my grandparents, just to get money. And I don't want to think that way, because what if, God forbid, my grandparents die tomorrow? I'm gonna feel like it was my fault, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, like, when they gonna, you know, kick the bucket so I can get some money? Like, I don't want to think that way, but sometimes I do think that way. And, you know, my therapist tells me that it's normal, and I try to make myself believe that it's normal, because I mean, it is normal, but I don't want to think that way because I love them, and I'm gonna feel even more lost without them, because it's not like that I'm close with my other family members. I don't really tell them shit. So yeah. So that's the graduate school and financial part. So now we're gonna switch gears and talk about what daily life is like being depressed, and what triggers there are to cause a depressive episode or anxiety and all that good stuff. So I have like a lot of self-awareness. That's what I've been told by my therapist, and I'm really articulate and I'm very creative when it comes to expressing myself, especially when I write. So my main trigger is stress, and I'm stressed out almost every day, whether it be at work, whether it be like with family, whether it just be like something as simple as me stubbing my toe. That causes me stress. And when I have stress, then I have cravings. So I would have certain cravings, like for weed. It can be Starbucks. The only thing that I drink from Starbucks is a matcha green tea latte, hot or cold, but mainly hot. I would crave that. I would crave snacks. And my go-to snack would be my garlic toast, maybe popcorn, like the Pirates Booty ones, or Choco Tacos. And if I can't fulfill any of those cravings, then that's when my depressive episode starts to increase. So I go from 0 to 100 real quick when I start having a depressive episode. And when I start having a depressive episode, that's when the anxiety can be like intertwined with it, but it's mainly like I start getting anxious. Yeah, I start getting anxious, and I'll get mad, I'll get sad, I'll be like, oh my god, life's not going the way I want it to be. I just want to die. I want to crash my car, because I do have suicidal thoughts, which is why as of lately, good thing I don't have a car, because I don't like driving on the highway, preferably the southern state, when I'm going to Hempstead to pick up Bella from her dad's house, because on that highway I always think about crashing my car and going into a ditch and dying. So I don't like driving, especially over there, because then that's when the thoughts come. It don't matter. It can be in broad daylight, it can be at night, and I be wanting to crash my car. So good thing I'm not behind the wheel, because sometimes I still, you know, have those thoughts. Or like when I'm walking in the street, I'll be like, yo, let this car hit me, please. And I wouldn't care. But every time when I think about, killing myself, at the last minute, I think about my grandparents, and that's when I just stop. That's the only thing that will make me stop, is if I think about my grandparents. So I have to force myself to think about my grandparents, because if I don't think about my grandparents, who knows what could happen. I could probably really kill myself. So a coping mechanism that I do have is to write. And when I'm feeling so down, I write. And then I share it with my therapist the next time I see her. But there was a time, as of lately, recently, when I started cutting. I started cutting last month. So I started to cut myself. I would cut my arms, like my forearms. And that was the first time I ever did it. When I was in high school, I did want to cut myself when I was a sophomore, but I was too pussy. So now that I actually did cut myself, I cut myself. I remember when I cut myself. It was in September. It was the weekend of my sister's birthday, and we went out to brunch. And I was not in the mood that day. I didn't even want to go. Like, I was just sad. I was depressed. I was mad because of, like, my finances and everything. Like, I just wasn't in the mood, and I tried my best not to, make it seem like that I was in a bad mood. I tried to engage with my friends and my sister and my cousin, but I just didn't feel like it. But, I try to be, like, smiley and shit. I mean, I'll be asked, like, oh, Kendra, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And, my friends and my sister asked me if I was okay after. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. But we both know that I'm not. Like, I'm lying. And my friends and my sister don't force me to, talk about my feelings. I'll do it when I'm ready. And sometimes I'm just not ready. And sometimes I just won't tell you. But I did tell my sister that I did start cutting. So I did cut myself that day after brunch on Sunday. And I remember I did cut myself after my grandma was like, oh, you just don't want to be around here or whatever. And that's when I just went to the bathroom and just started cutting myself. And then I started cutting myself, like, after that. Not on that same day, but, like, days after, I would just cut myself. If I'm feeling overwhelmed or something, I would just start cutting myself. And if I don't have weed, I start cutting myself. So I started cutting myself. And I stopped cutting myself in that month. I just stopped cutting myself because of something that happened that made me not want to. So I just stopped cutting myself. So that's why I need to think of other ways to cope besides smoking, because my therapist thinks that it's starting to become a dependency for me, and it's starting to become a problem because I'm always smoking. Like, I'm looking over there, and it's like, But yeah, I think it's important, to talk about this. And even though, like, I have a job or everything, I mean, it's, like, really good, to, like, promote awareness. And I don't let weed or anything affect my work ethic, really. If I do feel overwhelmed, then I would take a break, or I would just, just, like, shut down. And just, like, numb myself and just, like, go through the day. And that's just how I am. Like, I'll just be preoccupied with everything that I just don't remember that I'm depressed or I need help. Because my therapist, kept encouraging me to go to the hospital if I felt, a certain way. And I'm like, look, I'm gonna forget this whole conversation, or I'm just gonna forget that I feel this way once I walk out that door. Because now, after this session, now I'm thinking about ahead. I'm thinking about where I need to be, what I need to do, and all that shit. So that's normally how it goes. But writing is really good for me on those times when I do feel, like, so down. That's when I would, like, write. So yeah, I would write. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to talk about really. But I guess, like, what happens when I'm depressed, I'm just really, like, self-reserved, and I don't really contact anybody, really. Like, I would text, and whatnot, but I won't really call, I won't really like reach out, I won't even like want to hang out. There will be times when, you know, my friends and my sister will want to like hang out and I'll decline, or they'll be like, oh, if you don't want to go, then just don't go. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll go. Because to me, I feel like they have a problem, and I would feel that sometimes I feel like that they don't understand, even though they might be going, you know, through similar shit and stuff. But I feel like that they just think that I just want to waste away, and I feel like they get annoyed by that. But I mean, if I feel like I want to waste away, then I'm gonna waste away. God damn it! Like, just let me waste away until I feel like getting up. And also, sometimes you just wanna go out and party, but I don't want to party like, because all my friends stay until the lights come on, and I don't want to. I want to go home. That's why it's so bad that I'll be designated driver, or one of the designated drivers, because sometimes I want to leave early. That's why with my two other friends, I'd be okay to leave early because they both have their own rides. So I'll be like, when I feel like going. But yeah, like with my sister, my cousin, and my other friends, they like to stay there until the light come on and party done. But party done for me when I feel like it. And yeah. So all I know is there is a party coming up not too long from now. And if I need to Uber home because I don't want to be there no more, then I'm going to do that. And hopefully I have money in my account for me to do that. But yeah, like just being depressed is just like, you know, you're just down, you're always tired, you just want the day to end, you just want to be in bed, you don't really want to do anything, you don't want to see nobody, you want to do nothing, you don't want to fuck or nothing. And that's just like how I am. And my therapist has been pushing me to like get antidepressants, but I still need to see if the psychotherapist that she referred me to takes my health insurance, because if that nigga don't take my health insurance, then I'm not going, because I'm not gonna be spending mad money on antidepressants every month, because that's not happening. Because I did that when I wasn't antidepressants, and I stopped taking that shit. I mean, I had to because I was pregnant, but even after my miscarriage, I didn't go back on it because I did not feel like going. I even told the people, I'm like, look, I'm just gonna discontinue me coming because I cannot afford you. So I think it was like $100, $50 or $100 or something. And even with the medication, I think I still had to pay like a copay or something. I don't remember. But moral story is, it was expensive just to get antidepressants for a month. No. And also, I felt that it wasn't doing anything for me. My therapist was like, you didn't give it time to like, you know, get in your system and to work. I'm like, nah, bitch, that shit need to work as soon as I swallow. Once I swallow that shit, I need to be happy. And if I'm not happy, then I don't think it's working. And that shit was giving me headaches anyway, which is, it's a side effect to it, which is normal. But I'm not trying to get headaches. Why am I getting a headache for? Where is the serotonin? Or the dopamine? Where y'all at? Hurry up. Because I want to be happy. That's why I just be smoking, because I just be in my own little world. And I be in my own little fantasy world until I go to sleep. And then I got to go back to reality and I be tight. And then I got to do it all over again. It just sounds so bad. But this is real life. This is how I am when it comes to depression. How I deal with it and how I cope with it. Whether or not it be good or bad. I could paint, but I don't have time to paint. Like I told my therapist before, I'm like, look, like I would paint, I really would, but that's time consuming. And also I need to see if my paints even still work, because what if they dried up? Then I gotta spend money to buy a whole new set of colors. Then I gotta go buy canvases. Then I gotta go buy an easel. Then I gotta go buy like a pad where you can put your paint on and shit. Then I gotta buy that film wrap thingy. So yeah, I do draw sometimes. Like if I have a piece of paper, like I might draw. And I do like to draw. It does give me some type of therapeutic reaction when I do draw, like sketch. But other than that, the only thing I could see myself doing to cope is to smoke or eat or something. I don't know. That's why I gotta give in to my cravings, like with food and stuff. Like I have to do something with. That sounds bad. That sounds like nasty. Like I gotta do stuff with my mouth, but Yeah. But yeah, this is basically the end of the depression saga. So I hope y'all enjoyed those videos this month. And if you're going through the same thing as me or something similar, or you know somebody, then please refer to this video, because this shit is raw, this shit is explicit and honest and stuff. And if you really feel like that you need some help, that you need to seek professional help, because if you resort into, God forbid, killing yourself, then that's gonna impact everyone else. And sometimes you don't think about that, and even if you do, sometimes you just in that state where you just don't care anymore, and you just have to make that sacrifice. And I have to think about that every time when I want to kill myself, because I have to think about my grandparents, because I have to think about what's gonna happen after. And that's what stops me from really killing myself. It prevents me from crashing my car, because there will be times when I'm just like, let me just and then I'm like, wait, no, I gotta think about my grandparents, and I just like go back in the lane and be like, never mind, can't do it, I don't want to do it, because I know it's gonna affect my grandparents, especially my grandma. And also I gotta think about my dad. I really had to think about my dad too, because I don't normally think about my dad, because I know he's gonna feel like shit. He's probably gonna feel like a failure as a father, because it's not like he was much of a father to me when I was growing up. But and after my mom died, he had to step up. And even like after my mom died, and I wasn't present for like the first 2 years, because I was away at school, and I only come home from holidays, and half of the time I'll be out doing ratchet shit with the homies. The only time I'll be with family is like during holidays, like on a holiday like Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's Day. But other than that, like I just be with the homies. So yeah, the only time that I was really with my family was during like summer break, and then I had to go back. But yeah, so I'm gonna go, because this video is very lengthy, and I don't know if y'all gonna sit here and really listen to me talk, unless you just want to see how cute I am. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and to tell your friends, and hopefully all this fits on the YouTube channel. But yeah, bye.